Welcome to Mary Alice.
What did you do?
We are a Desperate Housewives recap podcast with me, Erin McGee.
And me, Jakub Tansey. Two best friends breaking down each episode until we answer the ultimate question, Mary Alice, what did you do?
Unless, of course, we have finished season 1, in which case, insert new mystery here.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack on Wisteria Lane.
Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
So get comfortable and let's get into this week's episode. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome home.
Yeah. For me, this does feel like my second home now every time I come over here.
You are here at least once a week.
Yeah. And speaking of the word week, how has your week been? Great transition right off the bat. Sorry, does it mean to continue?
My week has been great. I've had lots of a very wholesome week, actually.
Ooh.
I start a new job on Monday.
Exciting.
So I had my leavers night, which was very nice and very sweet. And I drank a lot of orange wine. The girls that know. And yeah, it's just been lovely. I spent some time with my niece. I think I might be thriving, Jakub. I dare say.
Incredible. I love that for you.
What about you?
My week's been great. I have done nothing but think about the new movie K-pop Demon Hunters.
I've not seen it yet.
It's going to change your life, Erin. And to everyone listening, do yourself a service and get it on. It's bloody brilliant. I think I'm calling it now. The soundtrack for that movie is going to be in my Spotify Wrapped.
Is it like the Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack? Because I loved that soundtrack.
No.
Oh.
The soundtrack is K-poppy. As is expected.
Yeah, that'll do it. Also, I'm obsessed with Mike being on the side of your face.
Yeah, we're trying something new and we're video recording this episode, not to post as a video, but just for our little social media clips. So we're very aware of how we look because we can see ourselves for once.
Yeah, I'm staring at myself the whole time. I don't think I've looked at your screen once.
Oh, are you in the call? I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, I'm in. I'm always in. I'm always watching.
So this week we're talking about episode 15, Impossible.
Impossible.
Yes. This episode is a canon event in the timeline of Jakub's life, and I can't wait to get there. So, Mary Alice's voiceover tells us about Bree's traditional values. Things like respect for God, the importance of family, love of country. Specifically, when Mary Alice says love of country, there's a shot of a framed photo of a man on Bree's wall, and I have no idea who that is. So, Erin, can you help me out there?
Oh no, I think it's meant to be a country music star.
Okay.
I'm so scared. I know people will be mad at me for this. I feel like this is Erin, this is your one job. Please hold on. Hold the phone.
I was just like, am I being stupid? But if you don't know either, that's fine. It's probably just someone very American that we're not aware of in the UK.
Someone very American.
So Mary Alice tells us that Bree's values were so strong that it always shocked her to be confronted with the idea that others didn't. And we've seen this from Bree before. She gives a lot, but she expects the same in return.
Yes.
And anyway, she's doing laundry as Mary Alice tells us this, and then Bree comes across a condom mixed in with the laundry.
It's a weird condom as well in terms of you can see it. You can see that it's definitely a condom in there, as opposed to just a packet with a brand name on it, for example.
Yeah, they were not sponsored.
They were not sponsored.
Big condom. XXL condom. You look so horrified.
Maybe this is a good one to have as a video. Are you familiar with JLS?
Oh, yeah, the X Factor winners. I'm familiar.
Are you familiar with their condom brand?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, I forgot about that. So we see Bree confronting Rex about it, having promised that the cheating had stopped, but Rex denies the condom is his and mentions that he's feeling lousy, which is a bit scary after seeing George the pharmacist mess with his meds previously.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little reminder of that. Rex points out that he's not the only man in the house who uses a laundry basket, and Bree is absolutely floored at the idea that Andrew is having sex.
But also, I mean, we know where this goes, but as well, why assume it had to be the other man in the house? Mm-hmm. Why could they not have ever considered that it was just somebody else in the house, for example?
And boy, we'll get there.
I do like how chill Rex is about it, though. And he says at one point, we could take away his penis, he'd still try to have sex.
That's my quote of the week.
Straight out the gate.
Yes, it was an early one this week. Yeah, so she tries to talk Rex into doing something about it, like searching his room, confiscating any condoms that they find. But yeah, as Rex says, like, that's not going to stop anything. So Bree, at the very least, doesn't want to put it back in his room because that's like they're condoning it. But after Rex asks her if she wants to become a grandmother, we hard cut to Bree leaving Andrew's room with the laundry basket as he enters it with a condom on top of his clean clothes like a hotel pillow chocolate.
It is like that. It's very lovingly placed on top.
Better safe than sorry.
But I think it's fun that Bree's problem is with the premarital aspect of the sex, as opposed to the fact that her young child is having sex.
Everyone on the lane's priorities with sex are so whack.
They are crazy. And that is a theme of the show.
Yeah. And speaking of the theme of the show...
I think
that was not bad, that one. Compared to our others, relatively speaking.
In my head, whenever we're...
Sorry, I just had to pop up on Zoom. Set up professional audio and audio settings, question mark. We'll worry about that one later.
I always imagine when we do it, it's the riff off in Pitch Perfect. And it's like bam, 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 bam. And we're about to start Since You've Been Gone.
Maybe next week we'll break into Kelly Clarkson.
So our next scene, we have Mary Alice's voiceover explaining that little white lies get told on the lane a lot. Not to hurt, but to make life more pleasant. Delulu is alive and well in suburbia. So we see Carlos getting some mail as an example of this lie. And he's telling the mailman that, oh my God, this is so embarrassing that these envelopes say overdue and need to be paid right away. Like, clearly this is the last time I do online banking, which is relatable as hell. And then we cut to Susan having a full debrief with the women. So the last time we saw the girls all together, or at least the last time what this is referring to, is Susan and Lynette had that conversation where Lynette had Martha Hooper's bracelet, which had blood on it, which the twins stole.
From Mike's garage.
Thank you. See, you do the Cluedo of this show so much better than me. You're like, here's the place and the time, here is the murder weapon. With the blender. So they've got quite a nice group dynamic at this point. I really feel like we've come a long way since the pilot in terms of how each of the women trust each other. And I love it. Someone says, the twins murdered Martha? And Lynette says, well, I wouldn't put it past them. I also have written down for this scene that I'm really enjoying everybody's outfit because everyone seems to be in their signature color. So Susan's in her green and Gabby is in pink, Lynette's in blue. The only exception is Bree is in like a plum color.
I really see green as Bree's color, to be honest.
Is it just because Bree looks good in everything?
Quite possibly.
So everything is Bree's color because this season she is full of the baby blues and baby pinks.
Yeah, she is the rainbow of the housewives, which... We'll get there. Foreshadow.
I also really enjoy, it felt like a very real, well-written friendship moment when Bree's going, should I dial 911 about this? And they're going, well, no, yeah, but it's not really a murder, but there is a body, but it's already happened. And it felt
it's
really
a funny
good.
little dynamic. I also love how the scene starts with basically the woman being like, look, these are all the red flags that Mike's have been showing. And Susan very much says, that sign won't stop me because I can't read. And she takes some convincing that we should call the cops here.
I understand her logic of, I just can't imagine Mike doing this because we're in love. And, I can't believe that somebody that I love would do that.
Yes.
However, the evidence at this point, we know the evidence is planted by Paul Young, but the evidence is pretty damning.
Yeah. I would be making some pretty hard assumptions if it were me.
I would say, though, it is one of those classic things of, okay, who would you lie for? If you know that they're a murderer, who are you willing to put yourself on the line for? And I don't know if somebody who moved to the lane a few months ago who purposely won't tell me things is worthy of that. I would lie for you.
Oh.
Would you lie for me?
I guess.
Wow, I'm glad I didn't trust you with what happened in 2008. Anyway, sorry, wait a minute. I just did the maths. I would have been 13.
Well, I mean, what did you do, Erin? Did you kill Martha Huber?
Yeah. I was really inspired by Desperate Housewives, so I went on a blender murder spree.
Incredible.
But yeah, the
blender bender.
Episode title? No, we can't have so many episode titles that are all about this blender. The blender is an important character in season 1.
Main character. So then we move on to the start of Gabby's arc for the episode.
Oh.
Yep. So Gabby is coming home and finds John, the now adult gardener's roommate and friend that we've seen in a few moments throughout the episode, but certainly he hasn't been significant. His name is Justin. And
Justin looks 45.
Truly, which does help with where this goes.
Yeah.
But he is waiting for Gabby. He's there to offer her gardening services free of charge. But really, it's clear he's just there to try and hook up with Gabby, which he makes pretty clear through some very unsubtle innuendo. And Gabby rejects him and goes to walk inside, but Justin grabs her arm.
Yeah, it's not good.
So Gabby reminds him that Carlos is always home because he's on house arrest and has a lot of anger towards the government right now that he'd love to take out on someone. So he lets her go and she marches inside.
It's weird that he drove there for the occasion. It's weird that they've never had a conversation about hooking up. He's driven over there and he's like, are you free?
Yeah. This boy is desperate, as we'll come to find out.
They do a weird, it's an interesting job that they do in this episode of me being like, I hate this guy. This is so awful. And I somewhat, not, I don't completely, but I somewhat forget in this episode that Gabby has already slept with him by now.
Yeah. And I think just for our own sanity, because we know that John, the now adult gardener, is 18 now. So I'm just we don't hear Justin's age, but I'm going to assume it's 18 just for our own sanity to make this recap easier on us.
I've got some questions about the ages again, Jakub,
right.
in this
well,
episode.
We'll get there. We'll get there if you want to. Yeah.
In the next scene, Gabby is freaking out to Carlos about all of the money issues. And Carlos is not freaking out. And as Gabby says, she is freaking out that Carlos is not freaking out and not understanding the gravity of the situation.
He seems to be trying to manifest money.
I think that's like a weird part of his personality. He just thinks that everything is going to work out because it always has. So he says, I think he even says at one point he's relying on luck. Meanwhile, as an example of that luck, Carlos shows Justin outside lawn mowing, shirtless.
And 15-year-old Jakub's interest is piqued, but baby, we're just getting started.
He looks like a 90s boy band.
He does. Oh my God, he does. It's the spiky blonde hair.
It's the spiky blonde hair. It's very NSYNC.
Yes.
So meanwhile, Carlos is like, this guy is a friend of John's and he's willing to work for free. I told you everything's coming up, Carly. I actually really like Carlos this episode. There's something about him.
Yeah. I like Carlos and Gabby's dynamic through this episode a lot.
Yes, it feels the most genuine it is. I do think it's kind of a theme of their relationship in a way. Once you strip them back of both of their kind of superficial natures, they really shine.
Yeah, 100%. So Gabby is in her robe in the bathroom, I think, when Justin just appears in the bathroom doorway to announce that he's finished with the hedges. Realizing Carlos is at a meeting with his lawyers, i.e. not home, he really pushes hard to convince Gabby to try and hook up with him. And eventually, he grabs her, trying to force a kiss.
Not okay.
Yikes. Gabby slaps him rightly and threatens to call Carlos, but he essentially blackmails her in return, implying he'll tell Carlos about John if she's not nice to him. At least once.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that Justin did not deserve this slap. He deserved a chemical castration.
I was like, Erin, where are you going with this?
I was staring at you on the monitor, being like, how much can I drag this out before? Also, Gabby, this is not important, and it's television, everyone. But Gabby is in her robe as she's just come out the shower, and she has a full face of makeup on.
Let's not act like she wasn't in the bath. We know she loves the bath.
She loves a bath. Oh, we've not had the bath scene in a while. Which
Welcome back, Bath. Oh
Welcome
my God,
bath.
the long-awaited comeback.
Big bath. We next see Gabby showing up at Justin and John's apartment, and she's in a very cute lavender lilac number. You don't like it?
Yeah, no, I just think that she's really going hard in this whole episode with the off-the-shoulder looks, and just combined with the 2004 hair, it's not for me. I've also decided she doesn't suit lavender.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bree could pull it off because she pulls every color off, but this is not Gabby's color.
I like Gabby in lavender, and it could be because, so lilac is my favorite color, and it is also a color that I cannot wear because I look insane. I look like I am dressing up for a children's birthday party. There's something about it. I can't do it. I can't pull it off, and I admire people who can. So Gabby shows up in her beautiful lavender number. So glad we finally agreed on that. Suddenly, Justin's demeanor has shifted. He is suddenly getting very apologetic about his behavior, revealing, I think I might be gay.
And 15-year-old Jakub doesn't know what that means.
He's like, gay, you say?
At that point, all that word is to me is a random insult you would use at school in like a jokey way, like, oh, that's so gay, ha ha ha. I don't know what that means. I'm just using the same term that all the cool kids are using.
Yeah.
You said that Justin's demeanor changes, but I think he becomes very childlike in this moment,
Yes.
actually. Like,
Yes.
he's kind of scared. He seems like, this is a child talking to an adult, and he knows that he's almost in tears. He's practically begging her to sleep with him. It's a little bit pathetic.
It's extremely pathetic. It's a bit,
So, yeah,
it's giving desperate.
it's giving desperate.
I should say as well, I completely ignored it because I was talking about Gabby's top. She shows up because her plan is to talk to John about this.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So that she can basically say, your friend is blackmailing me, and kind of see what he thinks about this behavior.
Yeah.
And Justin's going, oh, I thought you and John didn't talk anymore, because the last time we saw John and Gabby was the broken engagement.
Yeah. If John had been home, it probably would have been very awkward. So then we see a little bit later, we see Gabby, I think uncertain of what to do in this situation, but I think trying to be an ally.
Yeah.
And kind of talk to him about his feelings the best that she can in this moment. She also mentions that everyone is in denial about something, clearly talking about her own situation. Mm-hmm. And Justin says he has a buddy he's been fooling around with for a while, but now has started developing feelings for him and is freaking out a bit. He thought if he slept with Gabby, he'd know for sure. And he was just too worried about trying it with any girls his own age in case it didn't work, because girls talk, he says.
And girls do talk.
Yeah. So I'm glad, even though he was still way too grabby, I'm glad to like kind of know what his thinking was, at least.
He was very out of order, but you do understand his desperation.
Very childlike logic, I think.
Yeah. And I do understand that Gabby is trying to be quite compassionate to him here.
But then, as Gabby is leaving, he basically apologizes and tells her he never would have told Carlos about her and John. He may be gay, but he's not a jerk. And it really feels like in that moment, he's accepting the fact that he's gay.
How does it feel to be gay and a jerk, Jakub? Like, he does it all.
I'm here all week.
Get you a man that can do both. I love you.
I love you too, you bitch.
Can't wait for you to cut out you saying I love you back. You bitch.
Oh my God. But yeah, what happens next is... Now, this is the part where I wrote in my notes that I'm going to just go ahead and assume that Justin's 18. But basically, Gabby kisses the boy fully through her own decision to do so. And in what is presented as a comedic moment is like, anything? Nope. Definitely gay.
Yeah, this is very of its time.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't want to get into another whole child rant, especially when this is as far as this goes with Gabby and Justin.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well then let's get to another rant about something slightly sideways. Sexuality isn't, this is a conventionally attractive woman, so if I'm not attracted to her, I'm not attracted to anybody who's a woman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, well it's her or nobody.
But I think Gabby's mindset is very much like, all the straight boys love me.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for her to have that mindset there.
I want that confidence of like, okay, well, if you don't like me, yeah, you're gay. Our next scene. I actually really like most of this scene. So
I love this scene.
It just feels very tender. Gabby is suggesting that they sell the house and Carlos is getting a little bit upset. But she's being really financially practical here. And I think we've been seeing for a couple of episodes now, there's moments where she's looking at the bills. She feels a bit more responsible. And I do think that she is one of these people that it's gotten real. So she's gotten real.
Well, she's been working and hustling, so she's had the time to process how real the situation is, whereas until now, Carlos has fully been in denial about their finances.
I think as well, in my head, his lawyer is saying, you know, we're going to get you off on this and everything's going to be fine. And he is believing that.
Yeah.
So Carlos finally comes around through this conversation of seeing things the way Gabby sees them. And she's saying, you know, we can move out here and one day we'll get a house, you know, and he's saying it'll be just as big. And she says, no, you will buy me a bigger house than this one.
There's a really nice quote that Gabby has where she says, you know, Carlos, I've been broke a lot of times in my life, but I've never been poor because poor is just a state of mind. And on a literal level, I disagree. But I like the sentiment that she conveys that like money isn't the most important thing, which for Gabby to say is really nice.
Poor is just a state of mind made me laugh though. Because no, it is most certainly not just a state of mind.
But I know what she's trying to say.
Do you know, have you ever just tried like not being poor? I think you'd like it. I'm just saying.
Just fake it till you make it.
Yeah, she's like, I know, like I've been broke now. And she kind of acts like she's gone up and down in terms of wealth. But from what we know of her, she left at 15. Presumably, she was broke then, and then went on to make 10 grand a day. So what is the truth, Gabrielle?
Well, we'll have to ask Eva Longoria when we get her on as a guest.
Yes, but yeah, they are cute here. They really, I felt their chemistry. I felt like they were people who were married a long time. I think that they have the actors have an ease with each other that is really playful and nice. And it's one of the, I would say it's one of the better chemistries on the show.
Yeah. And I think also, since there's been so much implications that Gabby's just with Carlos for the money, or she won't leave him because of like financial security and stuff. Now that they are in trouble financially, she's not going anywhere. And that, I love that.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because they've kind of gone back and forward and been a little bit contradictory, which I don't mind. People are contradictory. But that Gabby was sincerely in love with John. And the only reason she was with Carlos was for the finance aspect of it. That seemed to be a storyline at one point.
I think that's just the kind of thing she tells herself, though, in some moments, rather than the objective truth.
Yeah.
People lie to themselves more than anyone, let me tell you. Also, I've just noticed you're named Mary Alice Young in the Zoom call.
Oh, yeah. So I have to tell you something. So we have a Zoom Pro account, and I had a bridesmaids chat, and everyone was like, does anyone have Zoom Pro? And I have Zoom Pro. And so I met a bunch of people, and in the corner, my name said Mary Alice Young.
Oh, my God. Did you change the name on your passport again?
Okay, how dare you bring that up? You know that is a sensitive topic for me.
My goodness.
I'm not getting into that later on the podcast.
No.
That's like a 12-part true crime series.
That's our separate podcast.
Hey guys, if you want the bonus episode on what's happened to my legal name over the years, let me know. Erin McGee, what did you do? we're at the classic Vandekamp dinner table. And Andrew and Danielle are slagging off Zach Young's pool party invitations.
Oh, which we've not talked about yet, actually.
We will get there. Basically, it comes up later. Zach's having a pool party. Zach has done formal invitations for the event. I think there are things in cursive that are being said. I find that particularly endearing and adorable. However, they're slagging him off for it. And Andrew says he's genetically incapable of being cool.
I mean, Andrew is very clearly a bully in the high school environment.
He's not a good guy. He's not. He really annoys me this episode. And I have been watching this show so far, being like, I remember really hating Andrew at one point, and I can't remember. I remember why now. It's all coming back. So Andrew says that he's going to go over to the party with his friends Lisa and Justin. That's weird, Jakub. Isn't Justin the name of the guy who was trying to sleep with Gabby, but it's gay?
There could be multiple Justins on Wisteria Lane. I guess we'll have to watch to find out.
Well, news just in. It's the same Justin.
Plot twist.
No, you go like Pretty Little Liars.
Got a secret, can you keep it?
Bree says, isn't Lisa the one with the pierced navel? She doesn't say it like that.
You've been spending a lot of time with her recently.
Mm-hmm. Then she says okay, this is where I get a little bit confused. She says to her 16 or 17, because again, if time has passed for Julie and Julie's gone from 12 to 14, I have no idea how old these kids are anymore.
I think in my head, Danielle and Andrew are 14 to 17 between them.
Well, in the pilot, Danielle is 15 and Andrew's 16.
Okay, so let's assume like 17 and 16 now.
Yeah. She's saying that she all of a sudden wants Andrew to be home by 11, which I think for a 16-year-old, 17-year-old is extremely reasonable, but everybody acts like that's crazy. But then I suppose the party is on the street.
Yeah, could be a different vibe in suburbia.
Yeah. Then Bree says, if you get Lisa pregnant, you will marry her.
And just so we're clear. Yeah, Rex is like, a curfew's not going to do anything, Bree. And they argue a bit, and Andrew looks so confused.
And the reason that he is confused is because the condom did not belong to Andrew. The condom belonged to Danielle.
And our unbothered queen is truly minding her own business harder than ever before.
My note was, Danielle, our unbothered queen, is vibing.
She's like head down, so focused on her food.
I simply have no choice but to stan. I love her.
Oh my God. I will say as well, I think as far as Vandekamp dinners have gone, this is actually one of the ones that has gone better.
Yeah. I would say it's top 5.
So later, Bree approaches Danielle as they need to talk. And Danielle confirms that she's still a virgin, but that she plans on having sex and just doesn't want to get pregnant. Smart girl.
I really think here she is showing that she is Bree's daughter. She's being very pragmatic. She's being very sensible. And, sourcing protection before you even plan to have sex.
There we go.
I honestly think Bree should be rewarding Danielle for being responsible in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. We get an age confirmation here, actually. She says she plans to have sex with John, the now adult gardener, which if he's an adult now and she's only 15...
I think, again, they messed up with the ages, so they've kind of aged everybody up. So I'm going to say Danielle's 16.
Sure.
Which is still not good.
Yeah. In any case, Bree points out that they've broken up. Danielle says he only broke up with her because she wouldn't have sex with him, which I think is safe to assume was not the case, and that he was putting all the eggs in the Solis basket.
Yes, but then, would you mind if I said the following exchange? Because it is, in fact...
Oh, your quote of the week?
My quote of the week. I had 2. I have an honourable mention, and I was really swaying this week, but I have to give it to my girl, Danielle. Danielle, you are president of the Abstinence Club. I wasn't planning on running for a second term.
Incredible.
Love.
But I do think that Bree has a a moment of being good mom in this scene because she's kind of explaining to Danielle that just because she gives the boy sex doesn't mean she'll get love in return, which is solid advice.
It's very good advice, but Danielle absolutely clocks Bree. And it's so good. She says, you and dad waited until marriage and he cheated on you anyway. And you've been nothing but miserable since they got back together. So no offense, I'm not going to take relationship advice or sex advice from you.
Yeah, she literally says like you're the last person who should be giving advice on sex and happiness.
The happiness is worse. You know what I mean?
Yikes. Yikes for Bree.
Also, Bree and Rex have presumably been trying a whole bunch of new things. And in this scene, Danielle alludes to the fact that her walls are paper thin and she's been hearing more than she should ever have heard.
And you can see the wheels turning in Bree's head like, fuck, what has she heard?
Cuffs or rope.
So we then see Bree turn up to John's room / flat, whatever.
This is insane.
And
this is insane.
Could you imagine if Bree and Gabby turned up at the same time? Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Just going into separate rooms with John and Justin respectively.
Everything about this scene is insane.
Yeah.
Because again, I love Bree. I love everything about Bree. Bree is foul for this. If my mum had spoken to any boy I even had a crush on, even now, I'm 30, I would not talk to her for a month.
My goodness. Yeah, I mean, she basically tells him very directly that Danielle plans to give him her virginity and that she'd consider it a personal favor if he didn't take it.
Very matter of fact, very Bree, very on Bree.
John tells Bree that she's nothing to worry about. He was never really into Danielle and that the not having sex thing was just an excuse, that his feelings belong to someone else. All stuff we kind of figured out as the audience already. Mm-hmm. But he assures Bree that he'll let Danielle down gently. But Bree would prefer him to be brutal. Bree's words, not mine. She uses the word brutal.
If it weren't obvious, Bree saying, my daughter's considering giving you her virginity and I would consider it a personal favor if you didn't take it, was my honorable mention for quote of the week.
It's a great one.
But it's weird that she's talking to John about sex, who she doesn't really know that well. And also, John is also in the abstinence club, isn't he? Anyway, unimportant. And she says, sorry, I got too excited. John is explaining, but obviously not saying it's Gabby, but that there is someone else in the picture. And Bree says, are you going steady?
Very mom energy.
She's just out of her depth in these conversations, but I do appreciate that she's trying, and I do think she thinks she's doing the best thing for Danielle.
Yeah, she's a meddler. That's what she is.
But imagine your mom.
I mean, what's worse, her meddling with Danielle this way, or when she called anonymously to the school to alert them of Andrew's drugs and get him kicked off the swim team?
I would say this is worse. Because what do you mean you are being cock-blocked by your mother?
Cock-blocked by your mother, episode title.
No.
The fear in your eyes there, my goodness.
You could actually hear the hesitation in my voice, and you could probably see it in my expression before I even said cock-blocked, because I was like, the internet is forever. I don't know if I want me saying that to be out there. I mean, and this podcast has really ruined any hope of me ever running for office. Let's just say that. It's done. Also,
but it would be great for the pod if you did run for office.
Oh my God, it would be so good for the pod.
Running just for podcast clout.
This pod is sponsored by the Erin McGee. Another thing about this scene. My favorite, it's not my favorite full outfit, it's my favorite part of the outfit, is Bree's little butter yellow cardigan in this scene.
Sure.
Which has got like a little silver clasp. She's a silver girl, much like myself.
And me.
Okay, well, it's not about you.
Who's being the jerk now, Erin?
I would say this is the most Susan episode of Susan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In that I think it shows some of her best qualities and some of her worst.
Yeah.
And the way that I'm going to introduce this arc, Jakub, if you don't mind, is Zach invites Julie to his pool party.
Is it his birthday or is it just a pool party in general?
I think it's generally a pool party.
Okay.
Which again is weird when we know that the body was under the pool. The whole point of this entire show is based around the fact that in the pilot episode, his dad dug up a body from underneath the pool. However, Zach's really saying, I only threw this party for you. And he's throwing the party just so he can see Julie.
Yeah.
And Julie seems very kind in this scene. And I think in this moment, she is thinking, you know what? Like, maybe I should go to this party. But I think by the end of the episode, her warmth for Zach is completely gone.
Definitely by the end of the episode. I just felt the vibe I got from Julie in this scene specifically confused me because it came across as a bit cold to me. Like, she's kind of like, and like reminding him his mother won't let them see each other. And it's almost like, well, her tune has changed. And I made the assumption from that Susan off camera had told Julie about Zach's kind of violent outburst when he threw the furniture. Oh. And so that Julie's already like, I don't really want to go to this pool party. But then she does end up going later. And so I was just a bit confused about where Julie's feelings are at in this episode.
I think Julie's entire thing, and again, I have no basis for this is pure speculation, is she just doesn't want to be a problem. She wants to be a good kid and she wants to follow the rules. And she's like, look, the rules are the rules. This is what my mom said. I never disobeyed my mom. I never disobeyed my mom. I never lied to my mom. You've come into my life and I've started to do all of these things. And some of it is because it's Zach and some of it is because she's getting to that age where she's making her own choices. But sure. I do think there's a bit of her that's like, the rules are the rules.
That's fair. In the next scene, Susan is unloading groceries from her car.
You know what I'm going to say.
When Mike approaches her with the most aggressive, hey, sexy. It's so out of the blue and so out of character for Mike. It's giving, hey, Bella, where you been, Loca?
It's so, where the hell you been, Loca?
It's so funny. I was cackling.
Mike Delfino, you have given me the ick. You have given
Stay in your lane, Mike. This is not your vibe.
Do you know what? I was kind of rooting for Mike a little bit in terms of like the more attractive men on the lane. He's fallen into last place. Do you know when you see people in the Olympics and it's the hurdles and they're ahead and then they slowly but surely they fall over one of the hurdles and everyone goes past them?
Can you slowly but surely fall over a hurdle?
Yes.
Okay. So
thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, so he's lightheartedly asking Susan if she's been avoiding him.
Hey, sexy. It's the same energy when I I'm imagining me calling you up and be like, hey, flop.
But you've said that to me in a funny way before. So like it would work for our dynamic. Mike has never said that in his life.
I can see him saying like, darling, gorgeous, beautiful.
Even babe.
Babe. Yeah. He gives babe the hey sexy in the middle of the street.
He's also just quite like a calm, collected guy most of the time. So it's the tone as well, the like of it all.
Also, one of the things though, as much as Mike gives me the ick in the scene, that's kind of endearing about Mike is he thinks he's a bad boy and he's not. Do you know what I mean?
Every time he puts that leather jacket on, he's looking in the mirror like, oh yeah, I got it.
He's posting like Instagram selfies of himself. And his captions are like, entering my villain era.
Yeah, maybe if he was a homosexual bad boy man.
But he's not gay. He's just a jerk.
So he's lightheartedly asking Susan if she's avoiding him. And Susan is making up excuses. And as she's doing so, we see a number of police sneak up behind Mike, which leaves me to wonder, how long have they all been hiding in the bushes for?
Also, there's so many of them.
So many. Mike is just like... It's not a 911 call. They just said, oh, hey, we had this evidence. You might want to question this guy. It's crazy. They're signaling for Susan to get down behind Mike. So she asks Mike to hold the groceries and then drops to the floor as all the police officers tackle him like he's got the ball in a game of rugby. Yeah, I know sports.
You do know sports, babe. It's like... You would think he was trying to assassinate the president. The amount of men that come up and they're scared and they're like, it's like SWAT, I guess?
It's so funny.
It's such an overreaction in my opinion. In our next scene, Susan and Julie are talking about the pool party that Zach Young is throwing, the aforementioned pool party. And Susan is talking about how she's just really not happy for Julie to be there because she, whilst also crazy like Zach, is adorably crazy. And this is once again, much like I said a few episodes ago about the good guy thing, adorably crazy is something that you cannot self-refer as. That has to be peer reviewed. You can't say you're a good guy. Somebody has to call you a good guy.
You need to submit it to the panel.
It needs to go to the court. It needs to go, and the jury has to be, and it has to be unanimous.
Yes.
So the next thing, an investigator comes into the door, and Susan has her mum, Julie, sit while she is being questioned about Mike. He is talking about a very specific date, and slowly over the scene, Susan realizes that it's the date that he and Susan hooked up for the first time. He and Susan? I realize that sounds like Susan hooked up with a detective. That is not what I mean. I'm talking about psych. So Susan is notably relieved, going, oh, no, that's the first time. It was a big moment for me and Mike's relationship, blah, 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 oversharing. And Julie is going, they did it. They did it. And the detective seems a little bit unsure about whether or not that alibi holds. But Julie clarifies, the next morning she made pancakes in the shape of little hearts. They definitely did it.
I love that.
I love Julie so much, but she shouldn't be there.
No.
She said, the investigator said, I've got some questions for you. And Susan said, can my little kid stay?
Do I have like a legal right to have a parent or guardian with me? I pick my daughter.
Where's my emotional support human?
My goodness. We later see Mike be returned home by the police, and Susan runs over to him, excited he's back, asking if he's okay and letting him know that she's his alibi. Mike is relieved that Susan doesn't think he killed Mrs. Huber and goes to take a shower, saying he'll call her later. And then Susan says, sure. When? It's like an equally aggressive when to his hey sexy.
Hey sexy, when?
Me, you, when, sexy. It's so silly.
Stop hitting on me.
Is it working?
You sound like somebody doing like an impression of the Hulk. In fact, you know what you sounded like? Where is Rachel?
Where is she?
There was a girl in our year at school called Rachel.
Yeah.
And people used to phone her drunk, going, where is she? Where is Rachel?
That's so funny.
Kids are crazy.
Oh my God.
Kids are crazy.
They are.
Yeah, when you were all out underage drinking, I didn't ever
It does track with you though, because you've talked about like listening in on phone calls and stuff. You're up to no good with those phones.
Yep. Do you remember? Okay, so there was this trend years ago online that you would talk to someone and you would say lyrics for a song and see how...
You did it to me!
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
And I didn't know what was happening because I just am never up to date with popular music.
You're never up to date with popular culture, Jakub. Unless, well, I would say the popular culture you know completely about.
But it's very specific.
You either know everything or nothing at all about something.
More often than not, it's nothing.
So I phoned Jakub and it was the lyric, I remember this so vividly, it was Maroon 5's Payphone. And I called him going, I'm at a payphone trying to call home, but all my cash I spent on you. And Jakub said, why are you at a payphone? Are you okay?
I'm just a gullible little innocent boy.
He said, do we call someone for you?
Hey, and I would expect you to do the same for me.
Well, I don't know. You hesitated a little bit about covering for a crime for me, but you will call someone. So, you know.
Yeah. The police.
Also in this scene, Mike is a weird one to read because he feels a little blowy offy. He feels like when he says, you know, do you think I killed Mrs. Hooper? And Susan says no. I didn't really get the vibe that he was relieved. I got like a weird, again, Twilight-y kind of, you should know, you always believe what's best in me, but I'm dangerous.
So kind of like almost betrayed by Susan sort of vibe. And
I don't even know.
I just make a big deal.
It was a weird moment.
Yeah, sure.
And she's so excited, like, guess what? I'm your alibi.
But what I'm excited about is for you to cover the next scene with our favorite big boss man, Noah.
Okay, so Noah's there and he's ordered 3 desserts at the diner.
I think it's the same diner that Bree and George went to.
Oh, that's a cute callback. Yeah. So he's got like a pie, and I think there's a slice of cheesecake or whatever. And Mike comes over trying to be the bad boy. And it's just like, got a sweet tooth. And he's like, I have a year to live. Like, leave me alone. Then Mike is explaining that he was questioned by the police for the murder of Martha Hooper. And without even blinking an eye, Bossman Noah says, did you kill her? He says something along the lines. I just can't stop doing the voice, Jakub.
And that's why I'm excited. So don't stop.
He says something along the lines of, the thing about having money is you can, I've got more money than I'll ever spend. You can't take it with you. I'm going to get you out of this.
Yeah, he's basically like, hey, rich people can get by their way out of anything. So don't you worry, baby boy.
Yeah. And, what is it that Tina Fey once said on a podcast? Authenticity is expensive.
Fair. Also, I love how Mike's like, oh yeah, I thought the death was random. And it's like...
It's just so random.
He's doing all this detective work on the lane about a missing person, and when someone gets murdered, he doesn't think to look into that.
I'm telling you, Mike's true crime podcast would be so funny. People writing in, there was a murder next door. It's like, that's simply nothing to do with this. It's nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. It might not have even been a murder. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is why Paul Young framed you.
He was right to do so, and you deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve it.
So at night, the detective is back at Susan's, asking Susan if she'll come down to the station with him to answer a few more questions. And Susan says that she's planning to go to the cinema with Julie.
Going to the movies.
But Julie takes advantage of this and tells Susan it's fine, they can go another time, clearly planning to just head to Zach's party as soon as she's gone. I think we can even kind of quietly hear the party going on in the background when Susan answers the door. Yeah.
You can see that there's like balloon arches. Like, what was Zach's budget for this? I remember my first... so we threw parties as kids, but we had no idea what we were doing. It would be, bring a bottle of alcohol, maybe, whatever. And my mum used to always buy me Bacardi breezers. I felt like a classy little lady. And then I remember starting to be at the age to go to parties where people would maybe put out like a single bowl of crisps and be like, oh, how dignified.
The peak of culture.
Oh, wow. And then people got very into cheeses. And I was so against charcuterie boards for the longest time. I was like, I will not yield.
The longest like, girl, you still are.
Yeah, okay. I don't like cold meat, okay?
There we go.
But I will take the crackers and the cheese now, at least. But yeah, this is the fact that Zach is somewhere between 15 and 18 and he's hosting parties with a balloon budget? Are you kidding me?
That's that suburban life, baby.
That's the suburbs. But again, you can't order things from Amazon. He would have had to go to like Clinton Cards or somewhere and got them all blown up.
Well, he's done it all for Julie. She means a lot to him.
Yikes. Yikes. The next scene, the police are recording Susan's interview about Mike. And the detective is starting to point out to Susan just how dumb she has been for never asking any questions of Mike. He's pointing out, there was a home invasion and then there was another home invasion and somebody got shot in the stomach. Where did you say your boyfriend accidentally shot himself again? And her denial is completely clouding her judgment. And the police are even going as far to say that they think that Mike asked Susan to lie for him, and that's why she gave the alibi. Then Mike reverses his ick to me a little bit. Because the detective brings out a file on Mike saying that Mike got 5.5 years in prison for drug trafficking and manslaughter.
That's so long.
That's a considerable amount of time. But the thing that gets me is they show the file and Mike in the flashback pics look like a young Charlie from Twilight. Ooh! A little bit of Billy Burke.
Of course, that's going to do for you. A lot of Twilight references in this episode.
The Twilight episode. The detective nips out of the room. But again, we've all watched a lot of American crime dramas. He is leaving Susan with the file on purpose. And the detectives are talking amongst themselves and he's saying, like, do you think she's lying for him? And he's like, nah, she's just a sucker.
Yeah, he goes out to talk to the other detective who was standing behind like the two-way glass or whatever it's called. And this detective is considerably more handsome than the first. Just worth noting, I thought.
I would agree. I'd agree. He's pretty hot.
Yeah. So we then see Julie turn up to Zach's party with Danielle, who will not be getting in the pool because she's just spent an hour blowing out her hair. Fair.
Love her. What I find weird though is, are Julie and Danielle friends?
I think they're probably friends out of...
Family friends?
Not even convenience, but just like, you know, they live on the lane. There's not many other girls their age. That's who they've got. It's kind of that thing like sometimes you'll have work friends, but situational friends. That's the term I'm thinking of. You'll have like work friends because you need friends in the workplace. And then as soon as you leave that job, you're like, I don't really care about these people, depending on the job. I
just can't see them ever hanging out, considering that Julie's like maximum 14.
I wonder if they spent more time together when they were significantly younger, before like high school dynamics came into play and stuff.
Yeah.
So they have some history. I don't know. We'll never know. We can assume. But
so Danielle comes right in and goes for a kiss on the cheek with John because she's ready to win back her man, everybody. And Zach approaches Julie and he is buzzing that she's there.
Also, where is Paul? Is he okay with this? Has Zach locked him in the basement?
I wonder if... I think at this point, the last time we saw them together, Paul was fully being blackmailed by Zach. And Zach's gone, I'm going to throw a party this weekend. Get out of here.
Literally, Paul's gone to regroup, come up with an action plan. Also, now that Zach is giving bad vibes, I do not feel bad at all to drag him for his shitty miniature Paul polo shirts, which is exactly what he's wearing in this scene. It is not cool. Maybe he is genetically incapable of being uncool.
Wow, Andrew Jr.
Yeah. He approaches Julie excitedly, and Julie is kind of surprised that Andrew is here, but Zach says he brought a lot of friends. They're being jerks, but he doesn't care because Julie is there now. And it's also the first time a lot of these kids are kind of acknowledging each other. So again, we were talking about Julie and Danielle, and now we see Julie mentioning Andrew and stuff. And I don't know, it's just nice. To make those connections, it makes the world feel a bit more rounded and real.
Yeah, I think this show is at its best when all the characters and all the stories are connected.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense that these kids all know each other. You're right. It's the suburbs. They would at least know of each other's existence. I have found it very hard this week to clock a monster of the week. I feel like it's not even a main monster. I feel like there's lots of lower level demons going around. There's part of me that wants to give it to Zach. There's part of me that wants to give it to Justin. There's part of me that wants to declare abstinence as the monster of the week.
I kind of love that.
Religious trauma, monster of the week. And needless to say, we'll get there. So, in our next scene, Andrew is being a classic bully. It made me feel deeply uncomfortable, actually, where he's doing the thing where he's pretending he's actually being nice, but he isn't being nice at all. And Zach is kind of saying, you know, you guys are getting a little bit out of hand. And he's going, you know, you should just like howl. And Zach does it, but it's dumb. And then people laugh at him. It's just deeply, deeply upsetting.
Yeah, Andrew's like throwing people in the pool with his friends and stuff. It's a bad time.
Zach then morphs when talking to Julie once Andrew leaves into what I think is a very Paul-like demeanor, to be honest, when suspicious Paul is suspicious. And he's saying, you know, I could take care of him if I wanted to. I know where my mom kept her gun. And then does like a weird same gesture that Bree does in the park on the date with George, where she does this like imaginary mimic gun finger thing. And Julie here also looks so much like Susan because something clicks for her. And she goes, you know what? This isn't funny. I'm getting out of here.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's kind of parallel storyline with Julie and Susan. They both realize their man's is up to no good.
Yes, but also the parallel storyline of George being a bit of a creep and Zach's being a bit creepy here. And
none of them are great.
Nothing's looking great. Speaking of George, there's something we simply must talk about.
In this episode?
Yeah, okay. I'm bringing it up now just because we mentioned his name. Do you recall that earlier today, I just happened to ask if you were familiar with Trisha Paytas?
Oh, yes, you did ask. And yes, I am.
Trisha Paytas dated the actor who played George. And I don't know if you know this, but she did like a wild YouTube tell-all video being like, this man is a cheater, and talking about how toxic and awful their relationship was. And I just need you to know that because we will be watching it immediately after this episode.
We will be watching it. Holy shit. I can't wait for that. Oh my God.
Anyway, so Julie gets very uncomfortable saying Zach is not funny. Zach says it is funny. But Julie the Vampire Slayer is not in the NRA. And she will not Jodie Foster this type of behavior. She is ready to rock.
Also in this scene, we saw Danielle storm off upset. Presumably, John has brutally let her down.
Yeah, she shoves him off of her and is like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Our unbothered queen is actually quite bothered in this moment.
It's very upsetting. That's not what we want for her.
She's super bothered.
Yeah. So then as Julie is leaving, she comes across Danielle crying and consoles her and goes to take her home. Zach goes after her, but Julie is not going to be coming back to the party. The vibes are cold. So Zach runs.
Oh my God.
Zach runs away. Literally. Like, he doesn't look like he goes home. He just runs into the night.
As previously established on this podcast, I don't watch a lot of horror movies, but I have watched the first Scream movie. And you know, Sydney is like, I'm sorry, but you're pathetic. And then she just bolts away.
Yes, I know exactly, because Anna Faris makes fun of that run in the Scary Movie spoof of it. Oh my God.
That's
incredible.
what Zach does.
It reminded me of the Amsterdam fight from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when Kyle just randomly runs away from it in the background. If you know, you know.
Susan comes home post police interrogation and Mike is there.
Jump scare.
Hey, sexy.
It is a bit of a jump scare though. He just appears out of the dark.
Yeah, it is a little bit horror movie. So Susan says, and I think she is great at communicating this, by the way, that she feels humiliated. And Mike starts to tell her everything, I think, again. He says, you know, I first moved to this lane but Susan does not want to hear it because this feels very real and quite sweet. Susan didn't annoy me in this moment. I really, really felt for her because she's saying, no, because you'll explain yourself and then I'll forgive you and I will fall for it. And that is a little heartbreaking. It got me. Susan's jacket cardigan thing is absolutely atrocious in this scene, however. And
Give her a break, just having a hard time.
It's very distracting, Jakub. She looks like a moth in a chrysalis. Susan closes the door on Mike and does the classic dramatic shot that you've seen in every film of crying behind the door and then slowly moving downward on it. Then this is where I say Susan loses me.
Yeah, she calls her therapist.
She says, Mommy needs a hug.
She yells it. She doesn't know where Julie is. Julie, Mommy needs a hug. It's so funny.
Is it?
I was laughing because I'm like, of course, the first thing you're going to do is call your, I guess, 14-year-old daughter.
Exactly. Oh, God, it's awful. So she realizes that Julie is not home. And naturally, she then realizes Julie has gone to the party.
Yes. And now we enter the most important scene, the scene that
changed lives.
Affected my life.
It affected my life. Before we get there,
yes.
Can I ask you if your mum ever came and got you in this kind of manner?
No.
No, I didn't. No. But I think that is social suicide.
Has anyone's mum actually ever done that? I feel like I see that in a lot of movies and TV, especially in America, where the parent turns up to the party to drag their kid out. But I don't think I've ever heard of anyone's parent actually doing that.
Yeah, I think our parents were too chill.
Or maybe it's just American, another suburb thing or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, so Susan storms over to Zach's, but clearly only the dregs of the party are left. It's dead inside. The lights are off. Zach has run into the night. They don't really see anyone there.
Zach is full Forrest Gump. Like, I just like running.
In the back garden, Susan sees the silhouette of two people making out in the pool, and assuming it's Julie Mackin, full names Julie in anger to demand she gets out the pool.
Julie
Alexandra Mayer. We will never hear that name again.
I like that I went Juilliard because I couldn't think of what Julie was short for.
Oh my goodness. The two people panic and dip under the water. Susan is yelling at them. They can't hold their breath forever until she spots a pair of men's swimming shorts, making it clear they're naked in the pool, saying they might as well stay under there. Eventually, up pops Justin. Susan is confused. She's asking, is my daughter under there with you?
I like that she's still assuming that Julie is there. So she's assuming, okay, Julie hasn't gotten with Zach. She's gotten with whoever this man is.
He shakes his head frantically until eventually up pops Andrew. And in this moment, 15-year-old Jakub embarked on his, say it with me now, journey of discovery.
And immediately Andrew's like, I'm not gay.
Yeah, he is panicked as hell. Susan is clearly flustered, and she just seems to kind of malfunction in this moment. She's like glitching. I don't usually laugh at her slapstick moments, but this one had me howling. She's like putting down the shorts neatly, stumbling away, tripping over deck chairs. It's very funny.
It makes so much sense though, because one, she's realized that Bree's son is gay, and she isn't going to tell Bree about it, presumably. But also she's dealing with how much anger she has at Mike, how much upset, how much anger she has at Julie for being at this party. But now Julie isn't at this party.
Yeah, she's very confused.
Yeah. She's got 100 emotions going on at once. And I think it's borderline believable.
And do you know who else has 100 emotions going on at once? 15-year-old Jakub. This is a perfect example, or at least this is a more serious note, I guess, or whatever. But like, a perfect example, or at least relatable one to me, for why representation in media is so important.
Yeah.
Because I said earlier that when Justin talked about being gay to Gabby, I literally didn't know what that meant. I literally didn't know what it meant. And this was my first ever memory of anything gay, period. I didn't even know that was an option.
The butterfly effect is crazy though, because Andrew pops up from that pool saying, I'm not gay. Jump cut to you phoning me while I'm in a McDonald's. Telling me that you're gay.
I don't often go down the kind of like what if thought path in my head, but there is times where I will wonder, like, from time to time, what it'd be like to grow up now with the amount of like queer stuff you see on TV, because that journey of discovery was no joke. It was a long one. Like, even after I came out, it was still many years after that before I really was like fully myself or whatever. And I just wonder sometimes what my life would be like if I'd like speedrun that part of my personal growth.
I think it would be different, but I think it would still be good. And I think you would still get somewhere near here.
Yeah, I'm never like sad about it or anything.
No.
It's just makes me curious.
I will say, to be serious, one of my favorite things about your journey of discovery has been that I feel like the more you became yourself, the more I fell in love with you as a person.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've been nicer to each other on this podcast than we've ever emotionally been with each other.
We've never been so sincere in our lives.
I hate it. The demon spawn are playing indoor hockey in the house. Now, my mom had a rule of, no ball games in the house. So this was crazy to me to witness. Tom comes in and he's clearly annoyed. It's the first time we ever see him telling off the kids, I think. And he's saying, kids, you should be taking that outside. And that is the first parenting other than playful parenting I've ever seen him do. So the kids are in the background causing chaos while Tom and Lynette are talking about why Tom is upset, which is the vice president gig at the company has gone to we have another great name. Tim Dugan.
I love Tim and Tom.
Tim and Tom, the flower pot men. Tom is saying that he's been at the company for 8 years now. And Tim Dugan has been at the company for 2 years. And Tom deserved that vice president position. And Lynette's saying, did you let your boss know that that's something that you would be interested in, that that's something that you want to do? And he said, no, but, you know, I've been grafting and there's more than one leadership style. And he's saying, kids, if you could just, you know, if you could play outside. And then Lynette flips it, obviously, by saying, yeah, there is, I guess, kids, and screams at them, only for them to immediately do exactly as she says.
And then she's like, well, yeah, whatever works for you.
It's really nice, though. But once again, it's like, I know that we kind of explore this a little bit in later seasons, so I don't want to talk about it too much right now. But Lynette is made for the boardroom. And in some ways, not always, Tom is more of a gentle leader and perhaps should be the one that, for example, is parenting the children.
Yeah.
Because Lynette's a shark. She is. She's just a shark. She sees what she wants. She gets what she wants. Mm-hmm. She is corporate Barbie.
Oh my God, yeah.
Also, last episode, I was talking about how beautiful Lynette's curls are, and they kept them in this episode, and she looks so darn good, Jakub.
Well, I'm about to talk about how darn good she looks in this next scene.
Yeah!
This is probably my outfit of the week. We're at a work baseball game? Sports. Tim Dugan is playing, and I was not paying that much attention making these notes, and I was like, wait, was it like a position on the baseball team Tom wanted? I was very confused. Anyway, Lynette is there also in support, and she looks so cute.
She's so cute.
She's got like a pink tee, little pigtails, and a baseball cap, and I'm just so used to seeing Lynette in blues and business wear, and this is a wild departure from her usual attire, and I loved it.
We see her in her civvies.
Yeah.
And
so Tom is moping, watching as Tim Dugan is making a run for the ball.
Tim Dugan is Dugan Sports.
Yes. So he collapses. Dying ? I wrote. +1 to the death count ?
I wrote at the time, because I forgot what happened, +1 to the death count. But also during this, which I think is really interesting, as we're approaching Tim collapsing, Tom, for the first time, is snippy and bitey. And even Lynette says, I forgot how much fun you are when you're bitter. And he's like, look at the job-stealing bastard, run. Before he actually collapses. And even then, Tom's kind of doubling down. Lynette's like, oh no, the tone has changed, Tom. But it's nice seeing them again, playful and enjoying each other, and it feels so much more relaxed because the kids aren't around.
Yeah.
I think
they need a babysitter to look after the kids while they go on holiday together just then. That's what they desperately need.
They need a divorce. That's what they desperately need.
Anyway, please continue.
I was just going to say that the interesting part is like this weird corporate thing of there are more rules. And I'm not saying there should be these rules, but there are more rules than Tom is able to see. And it is stuff that matters. Like, are you on the staff baseball team? Are you best friends with the boss? Are you going to the drinks afterwards? And it's this weird corporate language that is very privileged. And it's kind of, you don't know until you're failing at it that you don't understand the language.
Yeah. We see Tom come home. He's excited. We will, in fact, not be adding 1 to the death count.
No, we added 1, but now -1 to the death count.
That Tim Dugan is going to be out of action for a while, but he is alive. And Tom took Lynette's advice to heart and spoke to his boss, securing his promotion. Lynette is buzzing for him. They hug. It's momentarily sweet. Then Tom reveals that he'll be setting up offices across the whole West Coast. Lots more travel, basically. And Lynette's tone shifts as she thought it was an in-house position and thinks knows Tom should have consulted her, because she's right. Tom tries to claim that Lynette calling him a shrinking violet earlier was their consultation and tells her that she doesn't know what this means to him at age reveal 41.
Oh, 41.
Okay, I was like, did I get it wrong? Anyway, if he's like, if I don't make vice president now, he never will. But Lynette's career meant a lot to her too,
Yes.
which she completely gave up. And Tom doesn't give a shit and tells her that he's sticking with a promotion, perhaps taking Lynette's advice on a bit too strongly and in the wrong context. Tom basically continues to do what Tom wants without giving a shit how it affects Lynette in any way, at all times.
Any points that he got for that weird week he took off of work while Lynette was abusing ADHD medication and clearly was having massive mental health issues because of the children, I take them back.
Oh yeah, big time.
He is saying that, I'll travel more, but it'll be fine because this is what I want to do. And this is what I want. And again, he could see that his wife was having, or seemed to have, what is very close to what we now understand as a nervous breakdown. And he's willing to lose more of the parenting time with her and losing more of the help. Bearing in mind, they had a nanny that they had to give up because of him. What is going on? Look, shout out to Jakub's dad, friend of the pod. You know where I'm going with this.
I do. Hi, Dad.
We put up a TikTok and your dad was like, oh, he's not that bad. Mr. Tansy, with all due respect. This is what we're talking about here. This is not okay.
Oh my goodness.
When I tell you that every time Tom is on my screen, there is a part of me that wants to root for him. I go, I just need him to give me one likable quality. And every time I'm like a little dog holding a ball, I'm like, drop it.
Oh, my cheeks are hurting from all this laughter.
He is the worst type of partner because he's incredibly unsupportive. He's incredibly entitled. I don't think he likes Lynette.
I think he likes Lynette. I think he's just very selfish.
I think he revels in taking her down. He's the one that wanted kids. He's the one that wanted Lynette to give up her job. He's the one that wanted to sleep with the nanny. Now he's the one that wants to be away more. Is there anything that Lynette has asked for that she has been allowed to have and to keep?
Wild.
If they do not do a reboot and have Lynette as a bisexual queen, here's my vision, right?
I really don't think it's going to be the same characters. I think it's going to be all new characters.
It'll be all new people.
Yeah.
But if we heard a sequel for or maybe if they mention her.
Sure.
Also, I don't imagine her when she's with a woman as a particularly butch woman. I imagine her with kind of a Petra from Jane the Virgin type. Like another kind of girl boss type of thing. And they're both really into business and corporate. And even though like Lynette still, if she wants to still take care of the kids or whatever, I know they're all grown by this point, but she can do that. But also she like consults and the woman really respects her. And it's just dreamy. And they both wear each other's business shirts and they all fit really nicely. And randomly somebody goes, oh, weren't you married once? And Lynette says, no. No.
And they're like, don't you have like 8 kids? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the Virgin Mary.
And we cut to Tom. He's in a padded cell. By himself, rocking gently back and forward, saying, I'm going to run a pizza place. And everyone goes, sure you are, Tom. Sure you are. And he goes, I was married once. And they go, okay, Tom.
Thank you so much for sharing your fan fiction with us today, Erin.
I do have that disease that once I start on a bit and someone laughs, I'm like, oh, I'm going to write this all the way into the dawn.
My goodness.
But yeah, to summarize, I hate Tom.
Yeah.
So Lynette visits the office with the kids, Tom's new office as vice president. The boss's wife is there and she has a private conversation with Lynette saying that she's the one who convinced her husband to give Tom the job because initially they didn't want to. They wanted to hold out until Tim Dugan got better. And Lynette takes this as an opportunity to be manipulative.
She feigns gratitude initially.
And she goes into a full guilt monologue. But everything she says is true. I know it's manipulation, but that is what she's worried about. Tom missing the baseball games, Tom missing them growing up, Tom not being there as much. So as much as it is manipulative, it is also the truth.
Yeah. And we don't know if Tom's boss's wife who's talking to Lynette has kids or not, but it does feel almost like Lynette is appealing from like one mother to another. It's like she'll get it.
I think she's got a husband who's a very high up businessman who, in my head, missed a lot of those things for his own kids. And that's something that she's thinking about. And that's part of the connection that she has.
And they're both watching Tom have a lot of fun with the kids in the background while this conversation's going down, like pushing them around on spinny chairs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So is it okay? No. Do I back Lynette? Absolutely.
Of course, I'd expect nothing less from you. So then that night...
I'm the definition of that meme that's like, why are you booing me? I'm right.
Oh my goodness. Lynette gets into bed with Tom after coming home from a PTA meeting. Tom... Oh, yep.
Total side note. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, please.
90% of their scenes together are them lying in bed.
I mean, it's probably the only time they spend together since Tom's always out working.
Well, that's what I was going to clock.
Yeah. So Tom says that his boss has rethought the promotion and is going to hold off for, I wrote the guy who collapsed at the baseball game because I did not clock the name of the time.
Tim Dugan. Tiffany Axelrod's father.
Tom seems to console himself, essentially, by telling Lynette, but mostly himself, that it's for the best and it's kind of a blessing in disguise, but he's clearly disappointed. And Lynette does seem like she feels a bit guilty or remorseful, but ultimately what Tom is saying to himself now is right.
Tom is very sad. And it does feel sad that he's making it clear that he really wanted this and it was a great opportunity for him, but he's had to let it go. Why, though, could he not have had this conversation when Lynette brought up how far away he would be? Why couldn't he have communicated that aspect then? Because then I feel like Lynette would have been more understanding about the situation. But again, Lynette is clearly still recovering from what's been going on with her. And for Tom to take this opportunity now without having that conversation, I'm not rooting for him. Mm-hmm. I hate him.
And then in our final scene, we're back at the diner with the favorite bug boss man, Noah. That was bad. I gotta leave that to you.
Wait. That was bad. Do you think mine is good?
Yeah. But he is there with the handsome detective.
It's a good reveal.
Oh, yeah. And he clearly, basically, he's meeting him to bribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you want, buddy?
Yeah. I assume it's like, just leave Mike alone, but it also could be like, well, I want all the information you have because clearly Mike's getting nowhere, etc.
He's or maybe we're completely wrong. Maybe he's like, look, Mike's an awful detective. Can you get on board with what I'm trying to do? Because you've got them. Clearly, you can be a detective because that is your job. Maybe I'll get you to work on Deirdre's case.
Yeah. We get our closing Mary Alice voiceover.
Yes. She yeses again.
We're getting spoiled now.
Spoiled.
She talks about each new day bringing a new set of lies, kind of tying back to the white lies monologue from the start. She says that the worst lies are those that we tell ourselves at night before we fall asleep. And she is so real for that.
Yep.
The examples she gives are telling ourselves we're happy, and then we see Bree awake at night looking at Rex.
So Bree knows she's unhappy.
Mm-hmm. Danielle clocked that. She says the lies that we tell ourselves that he's happy, and we see Lynette awake at night looking at Tom.
So Lynette knows Tom is unhappy.
She says the lies about what we can change or that he will change his mind. And then we see Justin and Danielle respectively awake in bed.
So Justin is still gay. Danielle is still a virgin.
And then Mary Alice continues that we can persuade ourselves that we can live with our sins or that we can live without him. And we see Mike and then Susan respectively.
Mike looks like a corpse in that scene. He's unblinking, just staring in the bed like this. It's really creepy.
And finally, Mary Alice reiterates that we all lie to ourselves, hoping desperately that come the morning, it will all be true. And that's the end of the episode. for worst neighbor, I thought about Andrew initially for the way he acted at the party, but also if he didn't bring his friends, there probably wouldn't have been many people there. So I'm going to give Andrew Monster of the Week instead, just for being a dick.
Okay. Yeah, he is. I feel like in Monster of the Week, it's difficult. I don't want to always give Monster of the Week and Worst Neighbor kind of the same vibe. So here's how I differentiate them in my head.
Okay.
Monster of the Week is what we have to conquer and battle.
Oh, okay.
Worst neighbor is just your bad neighbor.
Yeah.
So to me, worst neighbor is Andrew.
Okay.
And the Monster of the Week is abstinence.
Abstinence, yes, that's right. So I really, really struggled with worst neighbor this week. So this is so silly. I'm going to give it to Ida Greenberg because clearly she didn't accept Zach's party invite and we didn't see her anywhere, and that's lame. Come party, Ida.
Okay. Counterpoint.
Yes.
Edie's also not there.
That's true. But
Neither's Felicia.
I see Ida as the life of the party,
But
though.
they're having a girls' night. They're having a cursed Powerpuff Girl girls' night.
That's so true.
They're playing poker together.
She had better things to do.
She has better things to do. I love how dumb that is.
Yeah, I truly was like, well, I can't think of a serious answer, so we're going down a different path.
If we're going to talk about the husbands,
Let's talk about the husbands.
let's talk about the husbands. Tom is the worst. End of sentence. End of episode.
And that's your thoughts. Should we mark the husbands all out of 10 for their behavior this
Okay,
week?
Tom is a big old goose egg.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna note this down just for
0.
future reference. Tom's 0.
No, I'll give him a 1.
A 1. A 1 because they had like one sweet interaction in the baseball scene.
Yeah.
Carlos, I would give Carlos points this week because he came to term, not full marks because he was fully in denial at the start, but he came around and then they had a really lovely sweet moment.
I would say he gets a 6.
Oh, why don't we compromise on 7? Because I was going to say 8.
Okay. Because for me, I'm like 5 is an average husband.
But I'm thinking purely about this episode and taking nothing else into consideration.
Yes. So I'm like, if 5 is an average husband this episode, he's only slightly better than an average husband.
Okay.
It's mine.
I guess I'm just thinking like 10, I've got nothing against him this episode and taking away points from there.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Okay, Mike.
This is an interesting one, isn't it? If we're talking about him in relation to Susan.
I know he's not married to Susan at this point, but it is let's talk about the husbands. So it is in relation to Susan exclusively.
Yeah, if we're talking about exclusively in relation to Susan, it's not good. It's not good.
I'm going to give him I would say 4.
I was going to say 3 or 4. So let's say 4.
Okay.
He's below average.
Yeah.
But also, he has given Susan the opportunity to hear the truth multiple times now, and she has decided to be blind to it.
And I think that's why I lean 4 over 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Who's the last one? Who am I missing? Rex, who's not in this episode.
He is at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, and you know what?
He's good dad in this episode.
He's good dad in this episode. We are talking about the husbands, but, I'm going to rank him relatively
I'm going to give him an 8.
An A. We'll give him an A, yeah.
Because I think that being a good husband sometimes is being a good partner and being a good parent. And,
and he's communicating to Bree pretty clearly his opinion in a non, aggressive or confrontational way. Mm-hmm. So, 8 points for Rex. Well done, Rex.
And then
Rex is so lucky we've started ranking after all of the affair stuff.
Yeah, I think Rex is really he's breathing out a sigh of relief. He's like, it's all uphill from here, baby. Meanwhile, George is in the corner being like, I know what's coming and I don't like it. I'm trying to think if there are any other romantic partners in the group, because I guess in John and Danielle, I don't really care about marking them, but I will say that I'm dying to know what John said that was so brutal to Danielle. I have to know.
Tell us, Jess Metcalf. Come on here and tell us.
Yeah, so we talk about this all the time, but my answer constantly changes. And this episode for me, my dream podcast guest is Danielle.
Oh my God.
I need my unbothered queen, and I need to know exactly what she was thinking.
And everything we ask her, she'll just be like, I mean, I don't really care.
Do you know that would be my dream? If she was like that in real life, and she was like, no,
she's just brushing her hair on the Zoom call.
related to nothing. which is my favorite thing. Do we see a future for Andrew and Justin?
I'm going to say no, just because high school romances rarely make it far.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's a fun question. Imagine how awful your life would be if you ended up with your high school romance. I don't count.
No. Well, I didn't have a high school romance, Erin, so you're the closest thing I have to that.
Your life would be the same.
And my life will continue to be the same next week and the week after as we continue to record this pod.
Exactly, because you know what? If there's one thing that you and I are going to do, it's stay desperate. And we encourage you to do the same.
Incredible
love
segue.
you so
love you.
much.
Thank you. We'll see you next
Make
week.
good choices.
I guess.
Do you think they can hear us do that?
Mwah.
Moi.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check out our Instagram for visuals, behind the scenes content, and more.
You can find us by searching for Modded, that's MEWDYD.
Or just search for Mary Alice, What Did You Do?
This podcast is brought to you entirely by us, Erin McGee
and Jakub Tanzi. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to leave us a review. It really helps us out.
Join us next time for another episode of Mary Alice,
What Did You Do?